All rise. Honorable County Commission meeting is now open pursuant to adjourn the Honorable Richard Venable presiding.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'd like to welcome you all here tonight. We have a great crowd, beautiful evening to be out. Got some important county business to conduct at the monthly meeting of the Board of Sullivan County Commissioners. So welcome, and I would like to ask our Commissioner, Larry Crawford, to deliver the invocation. Mr. Commissioner Crawford.
Let's pray, please. Lord, how grateful we are for the abundant life that you've provided for us. The good portion of health that we have, that we can be of service to our fellow man. Thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you that we live in America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you that we live in Sullivan County and enjoy this beautiful creation that you give us. Bless this time that we have together. May all that we say and do be for your glory and for the better of our county. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Crawford. Sheriff, would you lead us in?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Appears we have all of our commissioners at least in the room. If you'll get your desk and check in. So, Madam Clerk, would you take the roll, Sullivan County Commission? Please record your presence, please. Everyone here checked in. Madam Clerk, take the roll.
23 present, 1 absent.
And I have been reminded by Commissioner Terry Harper, Road's colleagues, Commissioner Broughton and Commissioner Blaylock, to let you all know that Terry is having some health problems. He's receiving great care. Last we heard from his family, he was receiving care in the hospital. I believe we sent out a notice from my office, but if you all will keep Terry in your prayers, and his wife, she just finished about in the hospital, so they're undergoing some challenges now, but both of them are in good spirits, and we'll keep you apprised of his progress. They expect him to make a quick recovery, so keep him in your prayers if you would. Thank you. The minutes of the previous commission have been spread on your desk and transmitted to you electronically, and Angela and I got together and we decided that after tonight we will put the approval of the minutes on our consent calendar, and therefore if anyone has any corrections or anything, we can take it off without having to take a vote and have a that's all right with the county clerk. So do we have a motion for adoption of the minutes as published? Gardner, Morrell, Wood. Any corrections, additions, or adjustments? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. The board is open. Cast your vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote.
23 yes, 1 absent.
Have received the necessary majority. The minutes are adopted as published. Now we have I want to go into recess we have special guest proclamations, and if I may, I will come to the well to read the proclamation. I never know how to do this, turn my back on them or you. They're not going to vote for me anyway, so I'm going to speak to you. Mr. Jeff Linder, would you join me in the well, please? Our city manager, Jeff Fleming, is with us tonight. Thank you for I'd like to read a proclamation, if I may, just to recognize Jeff for his service. Recognizing Jeff Fleming for exemplary leadership. Whereas Jeff Fleming began his career in local government as an intern in the city of Kingsport in 1984. Whereas Jeff was hired as a planner on the city staff in 1985, and by continuously serving his community, he diligently worked his way up to the position of Development Services Director in 1997. And whereas in 2004, while holding the position of Assistant City Manager for Development, Jeff served as a scribe as he worked tirelessly to help facilitate the documents and document the meetings and progress of the initial formation of what is now known as Networks Sullivan Partnership. Whereas Jeff was devoted and believed in the vision of uniting Kingsport, Bristol, Plus City, and Sullivan County to form one mechanism to promote our area in the recruitment industry. Whereas Jeff has served the city of Kingsport and Sullivan County throughout his career, from intern to serving over 5 years as city manager of Kingsport. And whereas Jeff truly has a passion for serving our citizens, always reaching out to better his community. Now therefore, I, Richard Venable, Mayor Sullivan County, County Commission concurring, and so do hereby commend and honor Jeff Fleming, City Manager of Kingsport, Tennessee, for his exemplary leadership skills over the past 35 years. We wish him the best upon his retirement, and we challenge other citizens to follow his tremendous example of life governed by his service to his community. In witness thereof, I have unto set my hand and cause the seal of Sullivan County to be affixed on the 16th day of May, 2019. Jeff, personally, I want to thank you on behalf of the people of Sullivan County, not just Kingsport, but all the people of Sullivan County. And personally, I want to thank you for your service. Thanks. Now, I've got one more response there. Andrew, would you maybe come up? And you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Me and my fellow Kingsport City Commissioners would like to present you with this flag, and it's the wings of retirement.
Yeah, I'll address the commission. Hey, I just want to say thank you so much. This means the world to me. It's a very pleasant surprise. Although it wasn't, Angie tried to keep it a surprise. It was hard to keep it too much of a surprise. But, I stopped wearing ties about 3 years ago, so that should have been a sign to all of us that this day was coming, right? And, I had an opportunity to kind of grow up throughout the organization of the City of Kingsport, and I've always appreciated the relationship that we've had with Sullivan County. That's probably a little known fact, but my uncle was sheriff, and another uncle was superintendent at Sullivan County Schools. So our family sort of has a legacy of public service here, and it just means a lot that y'all would do this. And until you've been in the arena, which you all are in right now, and multiply that by 35 years, and think about that for a minute. So you understand why I'm taking a little break, and I will continue to serve Sullivan County and Kingsport in a volunteer capacity in any way I can to help promote the community. So thank you for your service. No compensation that you receive can properly pay you for the time and talent and treasure that you take away from your family. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We will remain at recess because we have other special guests with us. Gary, I'm afraid I didn't get the list that you gave me. Thought you'd written it on the back, but nevertheless, We have a guest with us from Tennessee Department of Transportation, and I'd like to introduce Dexter Justice. Dexter, it's good to have you in Sullivan County tonight. And if you will you introduce the folks that are with you from Strawberry Plains?
Sure, thank you, Commissioner, and I'd like to thank you for allowing us to be here today. Commissioner Stillman asked us to come and speak on State Route 126 here in Sullivan County and the corridor as a whole. And we're glad to do that, as there's been, what I understand, a pretty large rollover in commissioners here on the county commission. Tonight I have with me actually 4 people from our TDOT team. From our technical staff, I have Mr. John Barrett. He's a Sullivan County native, so some of y'all might know him. Ms. Christy Brown, who's director of our design staff, and Eric Wilson, who is our design manager for this project, and Ms. Rhonda, who is from our long-range planning OCT office out in Nashville, who is also local in this area, works in this area extensively. So, like I said, we're here to give an update on where we are with State Route 126 and its development, what you can expect going forward, but also give a little bit of a history lesson of how we got where we are today. So I'll just go ahead and jump into it. I know the map there is kind of hard to see, but as this project developed, I guess we were tasked with improving the safety and mobility on State Route 126, and as part of that, we did a corridor study, which is encompassed via the green outline there, so anything inside that area would eventually come narrowed down to the existing alignment, improvements on which is the red route for State Route 126, which is the corridor that ends up going from one end to the other, starting in Kingsport, going all the way to I-81 at the interchange that's there currently. The highway was originally built in 1926, ironically, State Route 126. And since the early 1990s, improvements for State Route 126 have been discussed that would improve traffic and safety conditions for that route. In April 2003, a request from Kingsport for preparation of an advanced planning report was requested. In 2003, the project was selected as Tennessee's first context-sensitive solution process project, which was a way for us to engage the community as a whole through the development of a process instead of just being done with the state planners and that, so on and so forth. Beginning in October 2003, as part of that CSS process, a community resource team was assembled between October 2003 and May of 2005. Their work was done to analyze the corridor to see what was the best fit for the community. The team consisted of city, county leadership, TDOT representatives, and local citizens that took up the opportunity to analyze that corridor. Multiple alternatives were identified during that process, all recommending safety improvements while minimizing the impacts to the environment features along the corridor. There are some important historical significant site along there, the Yancey Tavern, and then there's of course a pretty large cemetery right there in the same area. So a lot of that stuff was identified and was considered heavily through this process. A modified version of one of the alternatives was developed to minimize impacts, like I say, to the Yancey Tavern and to the East Lawn Memorial Gardens. In January 2012, the draft environmental impact study was approved. In December 2012, public meetings were held to present the study's results to the public. We had multiple, I think 2 or 3 of those. As a result of the modified version, it became the preferred alternative, and that's what we have moved forward with today, and that's the design that we have in process right now. For those of you that aren't familiar with how TDOT funds projects, it's a three-phase approach. So instead of tying up all of our money on a project on the front end, and suffering inflation and all that, those kinds of things, we fund it in phases. The first phase is the environmental design phase, and we're already through that process. And the second phase is the right-of-way phase. We're coming in to acquire all the property necessary to build the design that came out of the DEE design phase. We are currently in the right-of-way phase. The next phase, of course, after project is more unique than most. It has a high number of tracks involved. The first phase of the project has 250 plus tracks identified, so those kinds of numbers translate to a rather large right-of-way acquisition process. Like I said, we're in the middle of that, or I wouldn't say the middle, we're in the beginning phases of that. We have started with appraisals, and those are starting to come in, and the next phase would be to hold a right-of-way meeting, and with affected property owners, would be bringing those folks in, and having a discussion about the acquisition process. We anticipate that meeting being held probably the second week of June. There'll be more coming on that. We will be sending out individual invitations to the property owners affected. So that's kind of where we're at with the project right now. I'm going to go through a little bit of, that's phase one. Of course, phase two is a separate project, and we'll talk about where we're at with it a little further into the presentation. But I'll walk through each segment of what we were calling phase one, which starts from East Center Street in Kingsport and goes to East Cooks Valley Road, which is the project that we're in the right-of-way phase on. First thing we'll do is talk about the red segment there, which is segment one, starting at East Center Street and goes to Stratford Road. And I actually can't see that as good as I hoped I would. This section obviously starts there in Kingsport and goes just east of John B. Dennison. This section will be a 35-mile-an-hour design speed with 4 11-foot lanes and 4-foot shoulders to accommodate bike lane on each side. Curb and gutter, a grass strip, and sidewalks on each side. It will include a 15-foot raised grass median, and there will be turn lanes intermittent at intersections through this section. A little closer into this section, you'll see where we start there at East Center Street. I'd like to point out, this will be a signalized intersection, and we are cul-de-sacing Miller Street there to allow this to be a 4-way intersection, signalized intersection. Connectivity is still available through local city streets for folks on Miller Street to access this new, safer intersection. Moving on down segment one, we are realigning Orbank Road to get a better intersection, allowing better sight distance in both directions for folks that are to the north of State Route 126, and it removes access from Eden's Ridge Road. Those folks will still have connectivity over to Orbank Road, as you can see through the neighborhood there. Moving on to the intersection with John B. Dennison, we are currently looking to have signalized intersections on both sides of John B. Dennison. The exit ramps will see increased capacity as we're increasing 2 left turn lanes coming up the ramp southbound, and 1 right turn lane coming up the ramp. And then on the northbound side, we'll be expanding it to 2 lanes coming up that ramp. And that moves us out of segment 1. Segment 2 runs from Stratford Road to Harbor Chapel Road, and this typical section is a 35-mile-an-hour design speed as well, with 4 11-foot lanes, 12-foot continuous turn lane, a 4-foot shoulder to accommodate bike lanes, curb and gutter, grass strip, and sidewalks as well. Diving in just a little tighter, you can see we're realigning State Route 126 to remove that sharp curve there near Heather Lane and Milton Court, and realigning small realignments to line up the intersection there, and remove access for Hawthorne Street. And all of that should have connectivity back in the bank for those folks to get in and out at the improved intersection.
How many homes in this section?
Mr. Justice, would you like to take questions during, or would you want to go ahead and get through it and then take questions?
Let's get through it, and I'll go ahead and answer
Okay.
that question.
We'll do
Yeah,
that,
that's,
and then we'll get
he's
started.
talking about tracks and relocations for the whole first phase, all 5 sections.
We'll go ahead and go, and then the commissioners have questions. Thank you.
And moving on down, segment 2, you come to Harbor Chapel Road, and we're reconfiguring several intersections here. As you can see, and adding a cul-de-sac on one little side road, but adding connectivity to where everybody can come into one common spot there, Harbor Chapel Road. Moving into segment 3, goes from Harbor Chapel Road to Old Stage Road. This section changes from a 4-lane roadway to a 45-mile-an-hour design speed with 2 12-foot travel lanes, one in each direction, and 1 12-foot truck bonding lane on the eastbound section. It has 6-foot shoulders to accommodate bike lanes, so the shoulders widen out a bit through this section of climbing the hill there. 4-foot striped median, which will give some separation between oncoming traffic for safety, and curb and gutters and a grass strip. Moving in a little tighter there, Old Stage Road and Island Road. We have traces of Island Road there, some of the narrowing and coming to the 3-lane section had to do with preserving some of those old artifacts and the stuff that still remains from the traces of Island Road. We're realigning Old Stage Road for better side distance there as well and safer connection, and reconfiguring the intersection of Old State Road is what we're at. Here, I'm not sure what the name of that road is. We're reconfiguring that intersection as well. Moving into segment 4, from Old Stage Road to LeMay Drive. This section is a 45-mile-an-hour design speed section as well, with 2 12-foot travel lanes, 1 12-foot continuous turn lane, 6-foot shoulders for bike lanes, and curb and gutter, grass strip, and sidewalks on each side of the road. And moving in tighter through this section. You'll see that we are cul-de-sacing Holiday Hills Road here, creating or providing a new connection for Parker Street within the neighborhood, and cul-de-sacing Sugar Drive. And this will take a lot of traffic in here at Parker Street, from the Parker Street connector and tying in here, which will eliminate some of the accesses along State Route 126 for improved safety as well. Segment 5 from LeMay Drive to Cooks Valley Road. The cross section is a 45-mile-an-hour design speed, 2 11-foot travel lanes with 1 continuous left turn lane, 6-foot shoulders for bike lanes, curb and gutter, a grass strip, sidewalks on the east side only. And then as you get it closer to Yancey's Tavern and the East Lawn Memorial Garden, that section changes just a little bit. It's a compressed typical section with still 11-foot travel lanes, 11-foot center turn lane, 6-foot shoulders, curb and gutter, and a sidewalk on the west or the southern side of the roadway. It adds a retaining wall to protect impacts to the cemetery and a barrier wall to reduce impacts to the property along Yancey's Tavern. Here you can see that the roadway is realigned along the back side of Yancey's Tavern to line up at the intersection with Cooks Valley's Road. And this is the reduced section that we were talking about with the retaining wall and the barrier wall to reduce impacts to both Yancey's Tavern and the cemetery. over some of this stuff already. The appraisals begin in the spring, summer 2019. Those are starting rolling in now, some of the appraisals. The right-of-way meeting will be held in June 2019. Waiting on the date, will probably be either Tuesday or Thursday, second week of June. I think it's going to be at the Civic. Lined up the Civic Auditorium, maybe, Civic Center. Is that the right number?
That's what it is too.
And we anticipate 36 months for completion of all acquisitions, so we're looking at a 3-year timeframe to deal with 250 plus tracks. The project will need to be identified in a 3-year plan for construction funding, which I'm sure that the MPO will still prioritize as a priority for the Kingsport MPO area. Cost of right-of-way and utilities are estimated at roughly $24 million, construction in the $66 to $67 million range for a total investment of $90.1 million. Preliminary design for, this is the section, this is phase 2. We'll move into that section. We'll talk about that for a few minutes. Like I said, we have 3 phases of development. The first phase is preliminary design phase, environmental phase. We've got done the environmental document and moved into the preliminary design phase of that. We're beginning that this summer. Its estimated time frame for the project to deliver is 4 to 6 years. Right-of-way construction phases are not yet identified in our 3-year work plan for this phase of State Route 126. Our preliminary estimates show roughly $50 million investment on this segment. That's from East Cooks Valley Road to I-81. From Cooks Valley Road to Hardtown Road, we're going to have 2 11-foot travel lanes, 1-foot continuous left turn lane, 6-foot shoulders to accommodate the bikes, and curb and gutter, grass strip, and sidewalks on both sides. Hardtown Road, we'll have 2 12-foot travel lanes, 10-foot shoulders, 8 feet of which are paved on each side to accommodate bike lanes as well. And there's our contact information if you'd like to talk to us, and also in the presentation you'll see a project website, a link to the project website that you can access at any time. It has a lot of the same information in it. But we're open to any questions you have now.
If Commissioner would just go ahead and request push any buttons if you have questions for Mr. Justice. I really appreciate you being here, and this is the most comprehensive thing we've seen, and appreciate you getting with Commissioner Stidham and bringing your team up here. I guess at the start of in 1990 when it started, I was in the legislature and I lived on that road. Don't know what that means, but then as mayor, I was in the context-sensitive design that's where I guess I met John then, and so we've anxiously awaited, and we appreciate the update. Commissioners have questions for Mr. Justice or any of the staff. You did a good job, Dexter. Pat, would you go ahead and push your?
I did.
Oh, you're not showing up on mine, so we got a little. I can do that. Oh, here you are. Okay. You're right now.
I'm up?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Sir.
Actually, since Jeff Fleming and Bill Albright are here, I wanted to ask them some questions as to how it affects Kingsport. So Jeff, either you or if you want to defer to Bill, that'd be fine.
I'm sure this is maybe a little surprise to him, but
The section in Kingsport is primarily 4 lanes because it has the higher traffic volumes.
Could you come to the mic, Bill? Come on up.
Bill, you're recognized.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you. I understand the section of Kingsport is 4 lanes, or really 5 lanes, has a turn lane in some sections because of the higher traffic volumes. So, I mean, to answer your question, the effect is, I would presume is safer and moves traffic better.
Bill, this gentleman mentioned 100 homes that would have to, the households would have to be relocated. If I understood it correctly.
That's a T-Dot question.
But I want to know how many of those were Kingsport related.
You have a breakout on that. The numbers are 70 family relocations and 30 business relocations.
Okay. And are those 70 entities, are they in
When we began this right-of-way process, and essentially the genesis of that process is the issuance, the completion of the plans by our development team staff. The first order of business that we do, we send out a form that basically tells folks, here are some things to expect coming up in the future. One of the things we mentioned on that form is staking, survey work, ground survey work. And why is that important? Because as Dexter mentioned in the presentation, we are in the process of contracting with fee appraisers, independent licensed fee appraisers to come out and appraise the property to be acquired and complete a report. What that staking does is it enables the appraiser to more readily, more informed way of completing their work. To complete that report, they can look at the stakes on the ground and do their assessment, helps them do their assessment better. So that's mentioned in that form letter that goes to every affected property owner. It also tells them that an appraiser will be coming in the future as well to do that assessment. We like to do the stakes on the ground first, obviously, so the appraiser can do their work. And then after that, what we also mentioned in the letter is that we will be, as Dexter mentioned, I believe in mid-June, coming up, Civic Auditorium right there in Dobbins Bennett coming up, and we'll be doing what we call a right-of-way meeting specifically for those affected property owners, where our staff will get up, we'll talk about the history of the project just like we've done this evening. We'll also present a full overview of the right-of-way process, which includes our title work, our appraisal, acquisition, relocations that I mentioned. We will talk about their rights because they do have property rights and rights as defined by the Uniform Act. Their rights as far as payments goes, and answer a lot of the questions that they have about the process.
Would I be right in assuming there's a potential for the eminent domain to be put in effect?
Sure, and that's one of the things that we talk about with property owners. Once the appraisal comes in, talking about the process. Once that appraisal report comes in, under federal and our state requirements, those appraisals have to be reviewed to ensure